Do you recognize this? You walk into a room and someone is standing where you are about to go, and then you say, sorry. You basically ask for something that is completely reasonable, but you say sorry first. Or you share an opinion, or you say something that you need, or maybe you say something that matters to you, and then also you apologize. You say sorry. Now, if this is you, I want you to know something. This is not a bad habit. This is something that runs deeper than that. So I know this pattern from the inside. There was a time in my life when I apologized for almost everything, for being in the way, for asking, for needing something, for taking up space. But if you had seen me then, you would not have guessed it, because on the outside I looked like someone who had it all together, capable, warm, present for everyone. But underneath that, something else was running. There was a sense that there wasn't really room for me, that adapting to what everyone else needed was my job. And that if I made myself small enough, careful enough, apologetic enough, that everything would be okay. And when I look back now, I understand something differently. That constant apologizing wasn't a weakness, it was a strategy. It was a way of navigating the world, because I had learned very early that my needs came second, and that being too much or asking too much or being just myself had consequences. So I learned to preempt it, to apologize before anyone else could be bothered by me, to make myself easier to be around and making myself smaller. And it worked in its way. It kept things smooth. It kept the peace. But what it didn't do was leave room for me. The over-apologizing, the people-pleasing, the shrinking, they all come from the same place. A belief, usually learned a long time ago, that your presence, your needs, your wants are somehow a burden. That love or acceptance is something that you earn by not asking for too much. And so every sorry becomes a small act of preemptive management, a way of saying, I know I might be too much, so let me reassure you that I know that. And what starts to shift isn't learning to say sorry less, because that's just a service. What shifts it is something also underneath. It's beginning to believe slowly, incrementally, that you are allowed to be here. That your needs are not an imposition, that asking for something doesn't require an apology, and that taking up space, your space, it is not something that you need to earn. Now, this is slow work. I don't pretend something else, because patterns that were formed over years don't dissolve in just a weekend. But I can tell you from my own experience that they do shift, not by force or by telling yourself to just stop apologizing, but through consistently, gently turning towards yourself, noticing when the sorry is really shrinking and asking, what would it feel like to just not? To let the moment be what it is, without managing it in advance. These days I say sorry a lot less, and when I do say it, I mean it. Because there are absolutely moments in life when an apology is the right and true thing to give, but it's no longer automatic, no longer my way of justifying my presence. And that difference, small as it sounds, changes something fundamental about how you move through your life. This is what I call the self-gentleness perspective. Self-gentleness is the practice of radically accepting yourself as the most important person to consistently deserve your own gentleness. And one of the most powerful things that means is you don't have to apologize for being here, for being you. If you are curious where you are in your self-gentleness process right now, I made a short quiz that might help you see yourself a little bit more clearly. You will find the link below. And if this resonated, I would love for you to subscribe. I make one video every week, and this is exactly the kind of thing that we explore. So I see you in the next one. With all my love. Bye bye.